know when it starts? Hello, everyone. I'm J. Lenora Bressler, and welcome to today's edition of the Bible Delight in the Details. It is July, July 21st, 2020. Today we're looking at Deuteronomy chapter. Oh my goodness. And I'm trying to drink a lot of water. You'd think that would stop me coughing, but no. It's July 21st, 2020, and today we're in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 21. Moses is talking to the people, and he's talking about their enemies, and he says to them, "Do not be terrified by them, for the Lord your God, who is among you, is a great and awesome God." I remember years ago, in the sanctuary choir at Southside Baptist Church, we sang a song, Our God is an Awesome God. And I was sometimes called upon to do the solo verse in that. And it's a powerful song. I believe it was created in the 80s. Became a big anthem of the church there for a while. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns, I want to talk about this verse because I think it's important that we think about what Moses is saying. He is acknowledging, first of all, the temptation, the human temptation that we have of actually being terrified. Terrified is, it's more than just a concern. It's more than being upset. It's a physical reaction. It is a flooding of the brain with hormones that could possibly paralyze you or cause you to run. The adrenaline is running. To be terrified really impacts not just your mental state, but your physical state, and it has real impacts on your health and your physical ability and your mental capacities. Being terrified does not generally lead necessarily to the best decisions, as some of us may attest. But it does get you geared up to do something or nothing. It's kind of interesting. It depends sort of on your personality, your mindset, which way you're going to do. But generally, people who are terrified, they go to an extreme. They either get paralyzed and they're the proverbial doe in the headlights, or they they explode in a flurry of action, much of which is not well planned and well reasoned out. So being terrified is a recipe for disaster. And so Moses is telling the people, just like he's telling us today, do not be terrified. Whatever the circumstances are, if it's people, if it's events, if it's your current situation, do not be terrified. That is not a position of strength, and you must not be in that. In the New Testament, we're told that we're not given a spirit of fear and timidity. Okay, but one of strength and power. And it's the same idea here. Now, why is that? Why can Moses say don't be terrified when there may be some justification for genuine concern? It's because the Lord your God. Now, your God, that's important. If God is around, but he's not, you don't have a relationship with him, then the fact that he is in the picture somewhere doing something somewhere is not necessarily of any help or comfort to you. But it's the Lord who is your God, your God. And so it's that connection. It is the relationship that we have with God that makes the difference here. The Lord, your God. And then where is this God? who is among you. We know that in the Old Testament, God revealed himself to the Israelites literally in their midst in a column of fire by night and a pillar of cloud by day. And he literally was among them and led them. And when they stopped, when he stopped, they stopped. When he moved, they moved. And then we know that even during warfare, they would take the Ark of the Covenant with them into the battlefield, because that was the seat, the throne, the mobile throne, if you will, of God. And it was a symbol, and that it was a symbol that they could actually see, that reminded them that God cared intimately about them and was there with them in the battle. Um, at Christmas time, we love to talk about Emmanuel. Jesus is as Emmanuel, God with us. It's that same idea that God condescended to come down and enter into the human condition. But it's even more than that, because when Jesus then ascended back into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father, he sent the Paraclete, the Helper, the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, who now is not just among us, meaning that if we were all to be in a circle, God's right there in the center, but even on a much more intimate level than that, he is literally among us because he's in us. He's in our hearts, and he is animating our thoughts and our perspectives and the way that we see the world. And this is why we should not be terrified. God is here. He truly is among us in a way that is, far more intimate, and far more empowering in a way than even in the Old Testament, when you could see the fire and the cloud, or when Jesus was somewhere walking around on the earth, but maybe not in your immediate vicinity. But we can always say, do you realize that today, because we live on this side of the cross and on this side of the coming of the Holy Spirit, this is a statement that is always, always true. Even if there's one or two people, if there's even one person, he is among us. And why is this so wonderful? Because he is a great and awesome God. Now, that just, we use great and awesome as like, oh, this is awesome. This is great kind of thing. But actually, the words here, great is talks about power. God is a powerful God. And awesome goes one step further. It's kind of like great on steroids. It's that God is so powerful and so able and so competent that there are no boundaries. It's he can do whatever he wants. His powers are limitless, and because of that, they are awesome, meaning we are rightly in awe of them. It's like nothing we can have seen. It's like nothing we can comprehend. And because of that, why should we be terrified of anything? If I don't care what the situation is, if you have an unlimited resource, if you have a unstoppable and unextinguishable resource to combat something, you really don't care if it's a little tiny thing or a great big thing. You're going to be all right. And today, I don't know what you're dealing with, but I think there's comfort here for every one of us. I don't care what the day is, and I don't care exactly what you're doing. You need to hear that. I need to hear that. Do not be terrified by them, whoever them is, whatever them is. Why? For the Lord your God, who is among you, is great and an awesome God. Our God really is an awesome God. And that is great news here on July 21st, 2020, and every day. I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Have a wonderful evening, a great new day tomorrow. Remember, His mercies are new every morning. And we'll see you again on the next edition of the Bible. Delight in the details.